Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tuesday night, Deep in the Plus. I'm Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys for joining us so much. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and Unplanned Downtime. That would be great. And give us a big thumbs up. It really helps. And back by popular demand, I'm going to be begging for likes. So if we get 50 likes, we'll open this thing up before the end of the show. But we won't have to beg you because we've got the best guest ever. It's Eric Wolf. Wolf, how are you, buddy?
Oh, me? Hey, what's up, guys? Nice to be here.
And you know what? Tonight we're starting spooky season. We've done a lot of reviews for Halloween. We've done Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town. We've got a lot that you can go back in our back catalog and look at from last year. But this year we've got some new stuff that we're going to be looking at. And one of them, Wolf, you love a good DCOM, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, Disney Channel original movie. Who doesn't love a Disney Channel original movie? And we're going to do Twitches. Go Twitches.
What?
Go Twitches. Go Twitches. Yeah. So, you know what? Here's the funny part about this is a classic movie, and Desi is in chat, and she is our resident DCOM expert because she keeps telling me the ones I should be watching that I'm not watching. But for this one, I'd never seen it. Never seen Twitches. My kids saw it a lot growing up. They saw it like every Halloween. You know what? Here's the thing about it, and Wolf, you know this from going to Halloween Horror Nights and all that, that there's a lot of good horror movies that used to be like the foundation of your Halloween, right? It's like, oh, it's Halloween's coming around. We're gonna watch Nightmare Before Christmas. We're gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street. We're gonna watch Friday the 13th. Halloween, all these old-fashioned like horror movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then it became like Saw and Scream and stuff like that. But when family movies kind of started coming along too as an option, so you had Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas, and this was one of the staples. Did you watch this like on the Disney Channel when you were growing up? Did this not one that ever appealed to you when you were a kid?
So this came out when I was a little older already, but I do have two younger sisters. So I do remember watching Twitches particularly with them. I was a Tia and Tamara fan because of Sister and stuff like that. So it did intrigue me, but it wasn't one of those movies that really I was like, when I saw like the trailer or whatever, I was like, oh, I have to see this. Wasn't like that. And Rob already knows I didn't get to rewatch this movie today or recently, so I'm going back to my 2005 brain to try to see if I remember this movie.
So you didn't actually watch it recently, but you watched it as a kid. I love how you passed that off on my sisters. You watched it. You were a fan.
No, I watched it with them. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
It's fine. So here's the funny thing about this movie, and this is just like me watching it through fresh eyes. Is it's like a Parent Trap, but meets like Prince and the Pauper. I mean, that's a kind of a take on it, but meets Harry Potter a little bit, and then Annie for a second, and then like the Lost with the smoke monster, and then I was even getting some vibes from like Aladdin and the Royal Vizier Jafar thing betraying everybody. Like, so there's so many of these things. I was like, that's just like so when the movie starts out, we learn that there are these two children. And it's really weird because they just lay these babies on the floor. And they're kind of giving us this lore, this backstory of these babies. And they're important to this magical kingdom. And the two babies are born as twins. These servants know how important they are. And they take them to this other dimension to hide them, which just happens to be ours. So they hide them each in separate places, which at that point, if I find out later that I was the one that got hidden in the fancy family mansion versus I was the one that got hidden like with all the troubles. I mean, again, this is where Prince and the Pauper comes in for me. They're two kids that they should be living the same life, but one lives one of decadence and one lives one of kind of like challenge. So it's interesting to see where that comes from, and it gives them both a different dimension, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So when we go into this, these servants have taken them to this other land, and then they watch them grow up, and they become 21, which I thought was very interesting that they would go to 21. Normally, it would be 16, somewhere around there. I feel like that's more
Yeah.
of like a Harry Potter kind of. It's time to learn to be a wizard. It's time to learn to be a Jedi. I feel like it's usually younger than drinking age,
Yeah,
but I
the
could be wrong.
21.
So then now they've got to meet each other, and I keep calling them the servants because I don't know what their role was in their land. But they kind of bring them together, and they bump into each other in a clothing store. Which you said you're a fan of Sister Sister. That's kind of
Yeah.
how like they met in that movie or in that TV show, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I guess that's a throwback to Sister Sister, but I didn't watch that show. Sorry. Do I lose street cred for not having watched that show?
You can watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
I did find it interesting that one of the like I said, like these servants from this land, Ileana, was played by Jennifer Robertson, which I don't know if you're a Creek fan. I'm not going to say the name of the show, the Canadian show that's like S Creek. No, just The Creek. You don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
With Eugene Levy and his son Dan Levy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
No, I
but-
haven't
yeah.
seen it actually.
Okay, so because I like to keep a clean, but I like to keep a clean show, Eric. That's why we don't bring Patrick on too much. But when she when I first saw her pop up, I'm like, I know her from somewhere, and so she is on that show, and she plays Jocelyn, and she's the same. It's the same character. I mean, it really is kind of the same characters. They're very similar. It's like she's not really. I guess she's just being herself when she does this stuff. But she was like the superstar to me of this whole thing, minus Tia and Tamara, because I didn't really know any of the other actors in this. Did you?
No, especially at the time, no, not at all.
So as this is moving through, and we're finding it's like they're learning about each other, and like they love each other, but they kind of, this is all weird for them. The story progresses very fast. It's only a 90-minute thing, and they've got to give us backstory, and then we've got to meet the sisters on their own separately, and then we meet them, have them clash together, and then and then there has to be like the fallout, and then kind of the third act where they end up going from there. So this one is very, I don't know, it's more of a fantasy movie to me than a Halloween movie. Would you agree to that part?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think the reason why Disney kind of put it in there, October, what was it back then? I think like Oktoberfest or Hantoberfest.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Okay.
Was only because it's like witches. And because we had like Halloween Town, and Halloween Town was about like the witches and stuff, so pretty much that's the only reason.
By the way, I dug up something here. This is apparently based on a book series, which apparently is $1.99, but $2.99 in Canada. I guess they just want to punish the Canadians for reading this. No, I'm just, it's the but so here it was a whole series from Scholastic Books, and so it's twins, witches, exactly, twitches, the power of two, bum bum bum. But so this looks like a very different vibe than what we ended up getting with this movie. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you have not read the source material for this.
No, I have not, unfortunately.
Come on, Eric.
For $1.99, I should.
I don't like this.
You
Sorry,
should have.
sorry.
You totally should have seen this one before. I'm a little disappointed. So once the sisters meet each other, and then it's, of course, there's the one Alex, who is kind of she keeps saying the hard knock life. So it's got Annie in it too, because she's saying she's like, oh, the poor orphan child. She goes to Cameron's house, and she's the rich one, and kind of is like just amazed at this entire huge mansion that she lives in, and just kind of blown away by the whole thing. And it's this whole like fish out of water type of situation, but again, reminds me of Prince and the Pauper a lot.
Yeah.
So and neglected to mention, but I think anybody who's a huge fan is that Cameron has a sun medallion on, and then Alex has a moon medallion on. A little on the nose. It's fine. It's whatever. But then, they almost have this whole, like, oh, I do better at night. And then she's like, oh, I do better in the morning. Like, so it's just like they have these different personalities. But it is, in looking into it, apparently, like, Tia and Tamara were cast originally for the opposite roles, and then they switched because they felt like their personalities matched these characters a little bit better.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you know that in the birthday party scene where Cameron is having her big birthday, that actually Tia filled in for Tamara in that one?
No.
You didn't know. Apparently the whole cast, the crew could not ever tell them apart. So maybe that's why they had different hairstyles in this one. I don't know. So that
I can definitely see that back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they take them to this land through a magical door. I don't know. Now it's Narnia. Could be. They take them to this magical land, and when they go through the door, they see, like, oh, here's where we're from, and they walk around, and they're like, oh, this is really cool, and we'd really love to meet our mom, but then they kind of like, maybe we need to go home, and then Cameron gets cold feet about the whole thing, and then Alex is. So it was really weird that Alex was like, kind of like, she wasn't into the whole thing at first. She's like, I'm not really sure how I feel about this, and now she's all in. But then Cameron gets cold feet because she's scared, to face whatever this is. That their destiny is to face the darkness, the smoke monster. So here's the thing, though, Eric. I feel a little mean for doing this to you at this point because you haven't watched the movie, but I am going to ask you some trivia questions, and we'll hope that the chat can help you out here. Because, again, I feel like it's become a Deep in the Plus tradition to embarrass the guest. That's you. With trivia questions. Are you ready, sir? Not at all.
No, but let's do it.
Not at all. I know you read up a little bit on this, so I've been calling it this magical land and their homeland and all that, but what is the name of that land?
I'm cheating.
It's not going to be any good if you cheat.
Coventry?
You cheated. You just straight up cheated. Yes. Okay. All right. So that's fine. That's fine. You cheated. Yeah, so Coventry is the name of that. Here's one that you wouldn't be able to cheat on. Do you know how to spell Cameron? Because there's a big Happy Birthday Cameron banner. Do you know how to spell Cameron?
Cameron, let me scroll just a little bit. I'm going to say CAMRYN.
You cheating son of a gun. Come on. All right. So they give her two other nicknames. What are the two nicknames? Not including her Coventry name. You can't even figure that one out? Cam and Cammy. Come on, man. Come on,
I was
dude.
like, there's something here. This is Lark.
So at the party, at her birthday party, her friend convinces her to dance with a guy in a costume. Do you possibly know what that costume is that he's wearing?
That was the Frogman, right? Am I thinking about that right? Or
Yeah,
is that,
we're gonna bail out of this. So we're pulling
Or is that Halloween Town
ripcord.
2?
We're pulling the ripcord. It was Zorro, which is a Disney traditional character. So Zorro. So, and I was gonna ask you what town Cameron lived in because they kind of make fun of that, but it's Waverly. So again, I find that
Waverly
interesting
Place.
because the people who, there were some people who were creative behind the scenes of Wizards of Waverly Place were also doing this movie. So the Waverly was a tie-in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Here's another interesting tie-in. Apparently, the house from Mean Girls was also the house for Cameron, where she lived. So,
wow.
Same house. Can you tell me where that house is? You cannot. It's in Toronto. You can't. I know you couldn't. But I do think it's interesting, like, that she like, Cameron had a Porsche. What was that all about? I mean, as someone who comes from money, Eric, why would you buy a Porsche? So okay, so with this movie, as we're moving into it, there, and again, the vibes are really kind of like very, it's the end of the world. There's a scene where their mother, their real mother, the princess in this other land, has a I don't think he's a husband, but it's like a lover, I guess. And we find out that it's like her husband's brother. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool.
I was reading the plot and I was like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Honestly,
it does say here that Miranda senses her daughters are alive and informs their uncle, whom she married after Aaron's death. So I guess they are married.
So Desi's in chat, I think, still trying to preach Brink. She wants Brink to be a movie that we review at some point, and now they're talking about Xenon. So we'll just have them let them do their thing. But yeah, so and here's the thing about the brother. The brother's name is Thantos.
Thantos?
Now, it means a lot to us today because we know of Thanos from the movies, and of course, Thanos was always a bad guy in the comic books way before the Marvel Cinematic Universe existed. So it could be that they went to riff this off of Thanos, but Thantos. I mean, it sounds like to me like a Frito-Lay product. Like there's Doritos, and there's Fritos, and there's Thantos. That's like it's very weird to me, but we, and again, this is a children's movie. Let me back up a second and say this was a Disney Channel original movie. I shouldn't hate on it this much for being obvious in so many places, but it was so obvious that he was the baddie. It was so obvious that he was the baddie, and I couldn't even. I'm like, okay, well, when's he gonna show his true colors, right?
Yeah.
And then the woman who played their mom in this apparently was only 9 years older than the twins. Like in real life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was their mom. I don't know why they did that. Maybe I don't know. It's weird. Like I feel like you could have gotten someone age appropriate for that.
Right.
Because I mean, she was 30 and they were 21. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was very strange the way that that he was. It was so obvious that he was, the bad guy, and he was trying to keep them away, trying to keep them at bay. He was basically the darkness. So the flashback a little bit in this movie is that they have powers, but they don't know that they have powers, right? So Cameron, like no one can sneak up on her because she can like sense what they're going to say. She can sense that they're coming in the room, all that kind of stuff. And apparently she can also paint sketch like nobody's business because she's got all these sketches all over the wall. So she's unfairly rich, talented. I mean, yeah, that's not cool. So that there's that whole thing. And I think they go out of their way to push the rich thing too, by the way, that she's got this, like her parents are in the backyard, like playing on a grass, like tennis court, and they do this whole big thing for her birthday, which includes like life-size cutout, like cats and skeletons and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. And then there's some weird side business with the maid, their maid, who is like, she keeps getting like frightened and scared by these weird things that happen with the darkness coming in and all that kind of stuff. And at the very end, like they show her with her hair is spiked up like out of fright. That was a little too that was a little too silly for me. But again, I'm going to back up and say it is a children's movie. There are some movies that I feel like are for everyone, right? So like I feel like Nightmare Before Christmas feels like it's got a little bit of something for everybody. It's a little bit dark and it's a little bit edgy, but it's got some good music and it's got some fun characters. And so I feel like it's, probably something for everybody now. And this one feels like it is hard pushed into the lane of what Disney Channel original movies were at the time.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
One that we're going to talk about later, Eric, in a couple of weeks is Zombies.
Yeah.
That's got music. And so maybe it's a different thing. But don't you feel like comparatively, from what you remember about this one, that this one still feels like it's a kids movie, where that one still feels more like a family movie? Or am I off base on that?
I kind of feel Zombies is still very kid,
Okay.
because the comedy in Zombies is very kiddish, but it's enjoyable, kind of thing. Like, there's some, I guess it leans more towards family, yes, but I would still not put it in that category just all in itself.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got distracted by this. Now they're talking about Eric Von Detten being
From
very
Brink?
attractive. Yeah, it's a thing. By the way, yeah, so there was a sequel to this movie, Twitches 2. Did you watch that one? Not, I know you didn't watch it for this.
So, Twitches 2 I've never seen, actually.
Well, thank the Lord we didn't go with your original thought, which was going to be to watch this one and Twitches 2, because
I know.
because we would have nothing to say about it. But it is interesting to me that there is that Tia and Tamara have both said that they would like to do a Twitches 3 at some point, that they're both up for that at this point. I do like the fact that as twins, and a lot of people say you and I are twins. But as twins,
I've heard.
yeah, I can get that. But I mean, if I just shave the beard off, it's probably about the same. That they at some point decided to start working in different lanes. Like they weren't always, and that's why that Tia had to cover for Tamara, because she was actually working another acting job at the time. So they didn't always have to work together on everything, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so but a lot of twins, like, I think, work together all the time, and then I mean, the Sprouse kids have gone off on their own too. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So another little fun fact here is that the Twitch's names, so it was Artemis and Apollo.
Yes,
So
Apollo.
yeah, so Apollo. So Artemis is the god, the Greek god of the moon, so that's why the moon thing. And then the sun god is Apollo, but her name was Apollo. You're welcome.
There we go.
So then one of the things that we see later on with the mom is that she has a medallion that has both the sun and the moon on it. What's that about, you think? I mean, we don't know, so you can make up anything you want at this point, Eric. Tell me what you think that means.
I think it was just like one of these like destiny things. Like she was destined to have twins, kind of thing. And that's why she has both the sun and the moon, which is why the twins have a sun and a moon, like separate also. And then when they come together, they're like the most powerful. I think it's just something like that.
Okay, if you say so. So you don't remember the scene? Do you remember the scene? Where it's like, go Twitches, like that whole thing I was doing before, like go Twitches, go Twitches.
I vaguely remember it.
Okay. Well, here's what I find interesting about it, and is that in the very middle of the movie is when they discover this word Twitches. And it's it's titular. The titular, it's they say Twitches. Like, I think I was told a lot of times that I made up that name, that term, the titular line from a movie, but it is when they say the line of the movie in in the movie. So Twitches. We were talking about this when Patrick and I were doing Remember the Titans, and there's a scene in kind of the middle where the coach is like, and they will always remember. And now I thought he was going to go the Titans, but it was like the time that they played, and I was like, well, you ruined it. You ruined the whole thing. So
you could have right there.
Yeah, they do say it at the end though, like the Remember the Titans line. So that's kind of a thing. Do you think that this movie deserves to be in the Halloween collection of movies, or is it not enough of a Halloween movie?
I think it deserves to be there. Like I said earlier, it's like everyone associates, witches and just things like that for like Halloween or for like fall or whatever. So for Disney to have it just like available and stuff like that during this time, I think it's fine. I think it's great, you know?
Okay, so then let me ask you to do this. And again, I know that this one's not fresh in your mind, but tell me the your top three favorite Disney Halloween movies.
DComs?
Yeah, maybe we'll say DComs. Maybe we'll make it a little bit more specific. And in the chat, if you want to play along, I would love to know what kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And Desi, do not say Brink. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. And we'll do Xenon sometime. It'll be fine. But yeah, I would love to really know like what you think the top three DCOM Halloween movies are, because there are several. There are several. I can think of at least 6 off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I really love Halloween Town, obviously.
The original?
Has to be, yeah, the original just has to be on there.
Okay.
I really enjoy Don't Look Under the Bed.
Wild card.
Which is the one about the boogeyman.
Sure.
Really love that one. And what's credited to be the first DCOM, which actually they just recently did a remake of Under Wraps. Those 3 for me, I would watch every single year. For DComs, yeah, those 3 right there.
Yeah, Dawn originally immediately jumped in and said Halloween Town. Colleen says Don't Look Under the Bed, Halloween Town, and the Mummy one, which is the one you just said.
Yeah,
right?
there we
Under
go.
Wraps.
Under Wraps.
Yeah. So, she said yes. Wolf gets it. Yeah, sure. I heard no one say Girl versus Monster. That's actually a solid movie. It's a solid movie. Olivia Holt.
I do. I like it.
I mean, and that's the more modern one, so I feel like that one's, you know, I don't know. And I have not seen Phantom of the Multiplex. Nobody has said that. Nobody thinks that's a great Halloween movie. I mean, Halloween DCOM, like a scary DCOM. What about Don't Look Under the Bed?
Yeah. My top 2 right there.
Yeah. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire? Was that actually a DCOM?
That was.
Yeah.
Which that's great because it brings the aunt from Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Mr. Sheffield.
Can you do the Fran Drescher of Mr. Sheffield?
No, I can't.
If Maria here, she would do it. She would nail it. All right. So what about? Here's one that they list as a Halloween movie, and it was a DCOM. And I don't know. Maybe they're being too liberal with the term Halloween in association with this. But Invisible Sister. Did you ever see that one? It's fairly recent. It was Rowan from Girl Meets World was in it.
Oh yes, I do remember that one. I feel like the only reason why they tie that into Halloween is because it takes place on Halloween.
I mean, that's why we think Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Takes place during Christmas time, you know. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire was too good. Okay, all right. I'm just reading this through. My Date with the President's Daughter is also good.
Oh, My Date with the President's Daughter.
That's not a Halloween movie, Desi. Come on, don't just throw random things out there. What are you doing? But yeah, there's a theme song to that one, by the way. Way off topic. Will Friedle. First of all,
yep.
I'm a huge Will Friedle fan. There's a theme song where it's like My Date with the President. I mean, it's like, oh, it's bad. Yeah, I mean that it's so bad it's good. So not a lot of people said Halloween Town High or Return to Halloween Town.
Oh, no one talks about Return to Halloween Town, Rob. No.
Ooh, okay, because it's wrong Marnie. Is that why?
Wrong Marty.
Wrong Marty.
And according to I forgot the actual Marty's name. I feel bad now. But according to her, Disney didn't even ask her to come back. So like, it's so weird that they would ask everyone else to come back, but they didn't even ask. And I'm like, what? No, that proves that no. And you know what? To tell you the truth, nothing against the girl that played her. Because she was a good actress in her own right.
Okay.
In her own movies. but no, she wasn't the right person to. She wasn't the right person to replace her. Not at all.
Can of Worms.
Oh, that one's a good one. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Yeah, you know what? There's a place where you could actually see all these things, Wolf. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Well, October's finally here.
It's a magical land called Disney Plus. Yeah,
hey.
I'm looking at here. Now, notice this too. They have Descendants on here, 1, 2, and 3 as Halloween movies.
Yeah, I guess because of the villains angle.
Cruella, but that's not. I mean, I'm just again looking at the just the movies that are considered to be DComs.
Oh, the Scream Team.
Yeah, Scream Team. And then also, no one has said Twitches too. So I know you said you haven't watched it. I haven't watched it. Oh yeah. Alexandria says Kimberly J. Brown. That was
there. We go,
Marnie.
Kimberly J. Brown.
Yeah. So yeah, there's not a. I mean, so the Halloween depth chart here is pretty deep. They have all kinds of stuff on here and haunting episodes of things, shorts, specials. But you know, I feel like that we have we've done some of them already on Deep in the Plus. We're doing Twitches tonight, and then next week we're gonna do the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a panel. Muppets Haunted Mansion. It comes out this Friday. We're very excited to be able to see that finally Disney is going in and doing something right with the Muppets, to be able to do something good with them. I don't know if any of you saw Muppets Wizard of Oz. I didn't love that one. Anyway, but also if this could continue and they could do like a Muppets Jungle Cruise and a Muppets Pirates of the Caribbean, I would watch every single one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like the right move to be able to tie them into that. So I'm excited to see that. Would you say Muppets from Space would count as a Halloween movie or no? I mean,
no.
We've had a lot of stretches here already. Don't tell me that wouldn't count. Rosita said, sorry, guilty of not watching any Disney Halloween shows enough.
Yeah, that's, you can
what was the really bad one that Rob made us watch last year? All right, Dawn. I'm betting it was Mr. Boogedy, and that wasn't me. That was Katie. Katie said Katie. Mr. Boogedy, and there was a Bride of Boogedy that I was so just sick after watching how bad Mr. Boogedy was that I was like, I started to watch Bride of Boogedy. I'm like, this is actually a little better. But Katie, I mean, again, we all have nostalgia for movies, and I think a lot of us have, if you grew up around Twitches and Halloween Town, then, these are the movies that, like, you love, and as you've grown up, you watch again around Halloween as tradition, or, if you have kids, then, you show them those movies. I'd be interested to see, like, what a kid today would think of Twitches. Like, again, like I said, my kids are older now. They were watching this when they were little. They liked it. And so they probably will always have that nostalgia for it. But I wonder what a kid today would think of Twitches movie. Do you think that this would be something that would hold their attention?
I don't think so. I want to say kids now, and I could be wrong, are very... It's not like they're against the whole fantasy thing, but it's not what they're into, Yeah. For some reason, there was a point in time that, like, the fantasy realm and that fantasy aspect was very much something that we liked. And I think now kids now don't really go for that angle. They like more grounded things.
Can we fire Desi? Can we fire Desi? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She says a kid today would love Brink. I just, the Brink thing, I can't even with you and the Brink thing anymore. It's just, it's insane. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you know what, Lauren, thank you for watching with us. Lauren watches all the time, and we appreciate it.
Hey, Lauren.
Lauren said excited to see Muppets, and yeah, Muppets Oz was bad, but she had mentioned earlier that she actually has the DVD of Twitches. So, nice. I do think, again, I think that a lot of people have these the nostalgia for the older things, and then sometimes you go back and you rewatch it and it lives up to the hype that you had for it originally. Sometimes you watch it again and it doesn't quite. So like sometimes there's a movie like Tron, and I love Tron. Tron's a movie that I like. I would say top 5 Disney movies, and that's only because of the nostalgia, though, for me. And it was a cutting-edge movie; it's ahead of its time. It has Jeff Bridges in it. I mean, it's a Bruce Boxleitner. It's a great movie to me. But if somebody was like, "I've never seen Tron, should I watch it?" I'd be like, "Watch Tron Legacy." You know, because you don't have to have seen Tron to enjoy Tron Legacy, and Tron Legacy has better music. Better effects, better story, better acting. You know, so for me, that's like that's a kind of a litmus test that I do along the way, is to say that, like, where does the nostalgia end, right? And the movie is just not good, or it's a great movie and it stands the test of time. And when we recap in a second, I'll try to get your opinion on that one, because I do think that's important. Here's another thing though about Twitches, and some of these movies, Hocus Pocus, things like that, they all actually go back in and they exist in the parks and in merchandise and things like that. But and I don't feel like we see a lot of that out of DCOMs in general, unless it's High School Musical, Descendants, that kind of stuff. So this never, I don't think, ever hit that level. And maybe it's just that they're like, what merch would you do for that? I know with Descendants, there's costumes because everybody wants to dress up like, you know, like the characters, and there were dolls and there was all kinds of stuff. I don't know if there was a lot of Twitches merchandise back in the day, but we definitely don't see that continued into the park, especially now. It's spooky season. They've got all this IP clearly that we've looked at on there. I haven't seen one single Mr. Boogedy t-shirt. Not one. So I mean,
out of everything.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a ton of stuff that they could do, but I don't think Twitches is that thing either. But I mean, is Halloween Town?
It's one of those things that I'm kind of amazed that Halloween Town for Disney doesn't get more. I guess, like, more things. Like, like you're talking about, like, merchandise and stuff like that. It's very hard to find, like, Halloween Town stuff. But every single October, every single time, Halloween comes around, everyone's like, oh, Halloween Town, oh, Halloween Town. And it's like, it's very hard to find things. And it's one of those things, it's like, Disney, get to it, guys.
So, you're a gamer.
I am. Somewhat.
Do you find it easy enough to separate the movie Twitches from the streaming platform Twitch?
No, it's very hard for me.
I mean, the funny thing is, though, earlier I was Googling Twitches, and it's like Twitches as in like Twitch streams, Twitches, I guess, I don't know. So it's not easy to find. It is not Poggers when you're trying to find Twitches the movie on things. So yeah, there's really not a lot of stuff out there about Twitches in general, so it's kind of fun. So as we move forward through spooky season, and I call it that because it's like, it's not just about Halloween to me. There's pumpkin spice stuff, and there's the decorations, and there's the parties and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like it is sort of spooky season. And it may seem weird to call it that, but I'm going to keep doing it. Sorry. Is that there's a lot of content to watch out there, but we're going to be doing like I said, next time we're going to be doing Muppets Haunted Mansion, and the time after that we're going to do zombies. So we'll be talking about zombies, and then after that, Coco. So
nice,
which again is a totally different take on it, obviously, right? So Coco is one where you've got like what was happening in on the Day of the Dead, and how that whole thing works out. So I feel like that's a Halloween movie for me, and I've said this a million times, is that my go-to Halloween movie has always been Nightmare Before Christmas, and I watch it on Halloween because I feel like it's the bridge for me between the holidays, because that's what the movie's about, is a bridge between the holidays. And again, Katie and I did a review of that one if you guys want to go back and check that one out. So One last time I asked for, if you guys have the opportunity, we'd love it if you could give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. And if you want to go ahead and subscribe to Unplanned Downtime, a lot of cool stuff happening on Unplanned Downtime, including last night was Cosmic Raid Live. We have Boxed In, and we also have Ink and Paint, which may start switching out. But Rosita, wow, $10 super chat. I'm enjoying the show and the chat. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys
Rosita.
being on here. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on Tuesday night, and we want your feedback. So after this is over, if you want to leave a comment for us, let us know what kind of stuff that you'd like to see us do. The cool thing is that we're going to have a little bit of we're going to have some stuff in the middle, but we're then going to go into some Christmas stuff too. So we've got a lot of stuff planned, and we hope you guys will join us. So one of the things that we always do, though, Wolf, and you've got to do this. I need you to really be honest here. I need you to be honest with yourself. And I need you to be honest with yourself in the fact that you didn't see this time, but you have seen this in the past.
Yep.
After all the stuff we've talked about with this, after everything we've said, here's what I got to ask you. Eric Wolf, would you recommend this movie?
So, I think if it's your first time seeing it, I think sure, watch it. Why not? Get that little, Halloween spirit aspect, to your October movie watching binges. But is this one that you can skip and you can possibly see some other movies? I think so. Like we said, I feel like the only reason why it's very much like a Halloween movie is because it's a witch thing. But there's Halloween Town that you guys can watch. Go see the trilogy, not the fourth one. Go see the trilogy of Halloween Town. Honestly speaking, if you guys are into musicals, go watch Descendants. Go watch Zombies. I feel like those are much better movies than Twitches. And we discussed a little earlier as well. We got Don't Look Under the Bed. We've got, Girl vs. Monster. Honestly, I actually feel like it's a better movie than this.
Wow.
But again, if you enjoy, just Halloween movies, and if you just want to watch, everything and anything Halloween, sure, put it on there. And of course, if you're a Tia and Tamara fan, you got to watch this. This was one of their movies. They both worked on it, so definitely watch that. But at the end of the day, I feel like you can skip this one. It's all right.
Wow. Okay. All right. So for me, I would say I would say watch it. I know it's going to sound like a surprise. I would say watch it because, again, I've not seen it before, but I do think it stood the test of time on this one. I haven't seen the second one. I may watch the second one. I feel like this one is a little bit more in the culture than, say, Can of Worms or I could be wrong, but I mean, I feel like people recognize this movie. I feel like it's one of the bigger Halloween movies that Disney has offered in the past. They definitely have taken some liberties, I believe, when I'm looking at the what they choose to call Halloween movies. This one to me feels like it is an actual Halloween movie. So, we've done a lot of reviews on, this is our 84th review. So we're coming up on 100 very soon. But last year for Halloween, we did Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Hocus Pocus, Halloween Town, Nightmare Before Christmas. And like I said, this year we're going to do, we're doing this one. We're going to do Muppets Haunted Mansion, Zombies, Coco. I feel like, we've picked some that stand out. Now the question is, are they worth watching? There's a ton to watch that's on here. But if you watched as a kid, I think you'll love watching it again. If you haven't watched it before, I would say maybe there's some of these other things you would watch first, but I wouldn't say don't watch it. That's just my 2 cents. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I here's one last thing is I did Boo Bash in Disneyland and the Oogie Boogie Bash. Sorry, not Boo Bash, the Oogie Boogie Bash.
Ooh.
I never saw, Thantos as one of the villains hanging out. No,
really?
Yeah, no fake smoke cloud monster in the trick or treat trails. So I do think
missed
that this is
opportunity.
something that there's an opportunity here. I do think there is an opportunity here for Disney to embrace this one a little bit more, because it is, they liked it enough to make a sequel. Tia and Tamara are ready whenever you are, Disney, I think, to make the Twitches 3. Maybe it's their girls. Maybe it's, I don't know. There could be a ton of stuff that could come up.
Oh my gosh, do they both have twins? Oh,
dum, dum,
what?
dum.
Two sets of twins.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I do think that, they're really digging deep in some of the IP out there now with Oogie Boogie Bash, that they brought Agatha, they brought Sid. I mean, that was a brilliant move to bring Sid into it. I think that there are some things and some people who would have enough nostalgia with this movie to be a part of it, and it could be a little bit more marquee. But maybe they go Halloween Town first. Again, bring that in, right? Because I think a lot of people are either like favorite Disney Halloween movie. It's usually either Halloween Town or Hocus Pocus. But I think Twitches comes into the conversation. So, Disney, Desi's talking that Coco makes her cry. So just in case you wondered about that one, but again, we'll be back next week with Muppets Haunted Mansion. I believe there's a timekeeping tonight. Is that correct on the main channel? Maybe not. I don't know. Happy 50th to Walt Disney World. We are going to be talking a lot about that on Park Center this Sunday. So hopefully, if you guys have never joined us on Park Center, you'll tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday night and have some fun with us as we catch you up on Disney Parks news. But our big discussion topic will be Walt Disney World's 50th, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was fun. And so we'll have some people who were there that can talk about it and give some opinions of the new shows that are going on. Enchantment debuted. I got to say goodbye to Happily Ever After. I got to say goodbye to Epcot Forever, which, ironic, Epcot Forever, no more. And then Harmonious. I didn't get a chance to see Harmonious, but we have some people who did, so we'll talk about that. And as Desi has said, you can still stream the Jamboree, the GoldenJamboree.com. We did an event for 2 days at the WDW Studios in Orlando, so that was a lot of fun too. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Desi, for being in the chat. Thank you guys all for spending time with us, talking with us. It was great meeting the people who I got to meet down in Orlando. And hopefully you guys tell your neighbors, tell your friends, come watch next week, Muppets Haunted Mansion. I cannot wait to see this thing. And so we'll see it. We'll regroup. We'll come back here. And Wolf, thanks as always. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It's always fun.
It is always fun. It's always a good time.
It is.